All right, welcome to Speak For Yourself. I'm Jason Whitlock. That's Marcellus Wiley. That dude.
Yes, sir.
Coming up, we'll tell you if the Lakers legend just took a shot at LeBron James.
And if the Patriots should trade for a diva, you wrote this, wide receiver like Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham Jr. But we start every day with a Whitlock. So what you got today, big
Oh, man. Oklahoma City point guard Russell Wilson thinks he's been blessed with Westbrook. He's been blessed with the talent not to give a flip. He said those exact words yesterday following a Thunder practice. Listen for yourself.
I've been blessed with the talent to not to give a so when I don't, regardless of what happens, it doesn't change the way I live. I have an unbelievable family, great friends, unbelievable life, unbelievable job, make a lot of money in my job, extremely blessed, thankful, humble, has been in trouble, don't cause no problems. Every year is something. They got to make up something about me, which is fine. It's good. One thing I always know is if they're not talking about you, then you're not doing something right.
All right, not giving a flip is not a talent or a blessing or a motto for a well-lived life. It's the curse of youth, wealth, and fame. Westbrook is just 30 years old, worth more than $100 million, and immensely talented, stubborn, and competitive. He can afford to not give a flip about the thoughts of his critics. His ceiling is so high that he can fall several hundred feet short of ever reaching it and still be regarded as hugely successful. You and I cannot. Most of us, in order to reach our goals, must constantly work to eliminate our flaws to achieve and or maintain success. Wading through the informed and uninformed assertions of our critics can be a useful and necessary tool in that process. It takes more courage to engage your critics, weigh the merits of their arguments, and adjust when appropriate than to defiantly ignore them. Defiance is an attitude embraced equally by the bold and the insecure. I don't look in the mirror when I step out of the shower. Am I bold or insecure?
Is smart an option?
Shots fired.
Smart, please. Anybody?
Critics, like it or not, mirrors are, yes, they can distort and fail to see all the angles, but they can also illuminate and make us confront problems we would otherwise neglect. I have a great deal of respect for Westbrook as a player and a competitor. He has a passion for the game that forces him to play hard every single night. But he, like most of us, is fooled by his success. Achievement and prosperity provide cover for inefficiency and misguidedness. Oftentimes, critics, or haters as we call them today, don't share the same level of accomplishment and wealth as their targets. Smart critics swing up while looking down on us. The two greatest champions of the last 30 years, Tom Brady and Michael Jordan, both admit to being driven by their critics. They evenly share 12 NBA and NFL titles. They were blessed with the talent to give a flip about seemingly everything without losing focus, drive, or confidence. Today's modern superstar athlete is so fragile emotionally that he must exist in a cocoon of positive reinforcement wrapped in a bubble of groupie yes men serenaded by media hype men. Westbrook's mindset is emblematic of a youth culture pervasive throughout the NBA. He comes across as different from overly sensitive Kevin Durant, but they're actually the same guy taking distinct approaches to the exact same problem. All right, joining the desk now are two former NBA champions, Dante Jones and Brian Scalabrine. What I get wrong, guys? I'm wrong about
Well, you want to go back 4 minutes?
Yeah.
5 minutes?
How long was that? You want to start from the opening words?
Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
Does Russ have the right mindset?
Absolutely. Respect to Russell Westbrook going through the process. We've all been through that process, and he's arrived at a place that a few, if not many, athletes and successful people in this world have arrived in. The first thing you have to do when you have this mindset, when you finally get to this arrival point, is think about when you're displacing yourself from the masses, from the critics, from the haters. Do they have my best interests at heart? And what's happened, especially in sports media, just look at that genre in particular, is that the envy and the jealousy is pervasive. What's happened in sports media is a lot of disgruntled, failed athletes who still cover the same sport that they desired that they could have played. Think about this. In other forms of media, The movie critic is not sitting there saying necessarily, I wanted to be a movie director. It's just, I like movies. The music critic is not sitting there saying, man, I tried to go on stage and my demo didn't sell. It's just the fact that I love music. But in sports media, there's so many, and I work with a lot of them. Failed athletes, and the one thing about a failed athlete is he tried. And maybe he wasn't blessed by the golden spoon from up above. Maybe he didn't work hard enough. Maybe things just didn't work out. Hey, only 1 in a million make it anyway. But I do see it bleed through their analysis of not only the culture, but the individuals. So when you're Russell Westbrook and you realize, as my grandma once said, you can't make sense out of nonsense. And they talking nonsense about you, Russ. Don't dive into that pool. And I'm with Russell Westbrook because I'm in the same place. Diss me all you want, brother. I'm counting those with me, not against me. And I think Russell Westbrook has the proper mindset you needed to be successful.
Please don't make me follow that. Send that to Dante. You'll send it there. I ain't following that.
You're comparing MJ's critics, which were sports journalists of a time, to everybody's a critic right now.
No question.
Everybody has the ability to be a critic. So his critics, people who are judging him, are social media followers. And those are not the people that you should be worried about with your game. The game has evolved so much that the staffs and the people that he takes their advice and he's worried about how to improve his game, those are the people that he worries about. Oklahoma City Thunder, they hire people to teach him about his deficiencies and how he can be a better basketball player. And have we looked at where he's come from to where he is now?
Go.
An under-recruited basketball player, a positionless player drafted, a complete athlete, to be the second person to ever average a triple-double in the NBA right now, and to have a winning team. And then we said he couldn't win. And then what is he doing now? He's winning, and he's becoming a point guard, and he's leading his team, but now we have criticisms of him. And I take it offensive when we have an NBA guy who doesn't get in trouble, like he said, who's a responsible father, who's a responsible teammate.
He should be
who
free
is
from all
coachable,
criticism.
Who is coachable. No, it's not criticism. It's these critics that I'm worried about. People who do not know anything about basketball.
There have been people forever saying, hey, Russ, share the ball. You're not the go-to scorer.
Averages double-figure assists.
No.
He shares the ball.
No, he does now, and he's worked it out with Paul George. But maybe if he had gone a different route with Kevin Durant, and there were plenty of critics back then. I actually wasn't one of them, but probably should have been. But there were plenty of critics back then. It's like, hey, share the ball, play a different style of game. And it took forever for him to get there.
Why do you think that these athletes like Jordan or Tom Brady are responding to their critics? Why don't they just
say that?
No, they don't say I respond to my critic. They say they respond to the losses. I remember when I didn't win and I had to get over the hump.
I remember Jordan's Hall of Fame speech where he went through the laundry list of critics.
Of all, like his coach that cut him when he was in high school. That's not a critic.
Every slight or whatever, Michael Jordan fed off. And I've heard Tom
but those
Brady.
aren't the same thing as the critics that you're talking about now.
As Twitter
People
followers.
coming in
Twitter
and saying, Westbrook is shooting a bad percentage. He's lost it. He's not the same player he was 2 years ago. Don't we commend him in a society now where everyone is overly sensitive? Don't we commend him for not giving a flip?
No,
isn't that part of being great?
Now, I'm going to just say this, and I got Marcellus' point. I'm going to get to that about the failed athletes. But no one here has had more success in their career, my career of journalism, and has dealt with more critics. I got more critics than Russell Westbrook and have been dealing with them for 25 years. I don't think the solution is to defiantly ignore them. I think, I have the confidence and the security to actually engage with them and find out where the legitimacy is in their criticism.
But do you have the time and do you have the energy? Let's be real about this, Whitlock. I don't know what you just said about you the most accomplished, maybe in journalism.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, right. You got it. Don't add it all up.
No.
Okay,
but I'm just saying, I reached the...
Come on, big fella.
I don't like to compare.
My point, though,
I hear you.
Listen, I heard everything about the failed athletes.
No, I ain't there no more. I moved.
I said, but I didn't get to address. I heard everything about it because I'm a former athlete. But again, I went to college to be a journalist.
Yeah.
And in my profession, I reached the very, very top.
Oh, big time.
And so I'm going to say, if you want to go to the Jordan or the GOAT conversation in journalism, I've dealt with more critics than Russell Westbrook. And again, they talk about Russ and shooting the basketball. The attacks on me are personal.
Oh, I get them.
And so, again,
who do you listen to? No.
Again,
Whose opinion do you value? Do you value everyone's opinion?
Yeah, do you care?
Do you give a darn about my opinion? No, you shouldn't, because I don't have this experience.
I listen to all critics.
You listen too much.
I dismiss. No.
You got to throw that filter on a little more. Let me say this, Whitlock, and I love what you said about you being a top-end journalist. But you know what the critic is? He's different than the top-end journalist, and guess what? The times have changed, brother. The critics have overstayed their welcome in our culture because it evolved. With the engagement of the internet, everyone had a voice. So you know what happened to critics? They started to change their mediums. You used to write. Now you're on TV. Respect to you. But you know what most people who can't have that same translation do? They compete with eggs on Twitter. So instead of being right, they want to be first. It's gotten sensationalized to a place where you don't understand the culture critic, because you're not competing against top end like you anymore. You're competing against the low end back in the classroom egg. So when you overstay your welcome, you become white noise. Just like coaches overstay their welcome, critics have overstayed their welcome because you're talking about something that everyone sees now. Back in the 80s and 90s, you had an advantage. People would send you their movies early, send you their music early. You can watch all the games and we couldn't. Now we got NBA package, NFL prime time. We see it all with you. So you don't have a vantage point or an expertise, especially when you're going to convey it with sensationalism.
You're saying.
Not you, but some of you, but all of them.
You're saying.
It's over.
And again, I don't think Russell Westbrook is talking about those Twitter egg critics.
Oh, okay.
I think Russell Westbrook's response is my colleague Colin Cowherd and other high-profile critics who have questioned his game rather consistently.
Let's talk about Colin Cowherd, who I have an affinity for.
Right.
But he just doesn't like Russell Westbrook. He doesn't like his style of basketball. It's not factual based.
I can't debate you on Colin's motivations. I can tell you what I think they are.
Well, no.
I don't think he likes his game, and I think he doesn't think it translates to winning.
That's his opinion.
And there's not, again, it is not an uninformed one. But it's not one without merit when I'm looking at Russell Westbrook finally change his game and submit to what some of his critics have said for the longest.
There's something.
Yeah, but he didn't do that for them.
I didn't say that.
He's not just sitting there like,
I didn't
you know
say
what,
that.
Paul George, I'm going to pass you the ball if you re-sign with me because the critics.
That's not
He
what
had
I'm
triple
saying.
doubles before
But
Paul
if he had
George.
given his critics some merit years ago.
No, you can't do
Wait,
that.
you know what you're doing? You're guessing and trying to pay it forward and hoping that you land on it once. Like, they've been saying that about Russell Westbrook from day one. He made it to the finals with a loaded team. They didn't keep that team together. He's trying to get a different way up to that same place and get over
Ran
that.
off Kevin Durant.
He tried.
Kevin Durant walked
He
away
tried to
from
keep
that
somebody that
situation.
didn't want to be there. It's one thing to run your girlfriend off, but it's one thing for your girl not to want to be with you to start with. And he didn't want to be in OKC. Kevin Durant wanted to go somewhere else. He did not want to be in OKC.
History. I think that had Westbrook played a different style, Kevin Durant might have made the exact same decision Paul George just made. And they might have a better version of Paul George.
Well,
Kevin
Durant could have did something different as well.
Sure.
Durant's playing a different way. He's saying, I'm a shared alpha with the Golden State Warriors. This is your team, Steph, or we're a shared experience. So he's being more pliable. How do we know that he wasn't pliable when he was playing with Westbrook?
Because he left. And it was clear that there was a disconnect between those two, and that was what.
And that's all on Westbrook.
And there was smoke between them for a while.
If he leaves now, it's the same situation.
No, Kevin Durant's a different dude.
I know he's a different dude. That's why you can't say that. If it happened then, it's going to happen now.
He changed.
The question, though, to me was, should Russell Westbrook have given his critics some merit to their argument and evaluate and discard, rather than I just don't give a flip. And I've been blessed with this amazing talent not to give a flip. I think that's the wrong attitude.
Have you seen why KD left, actually? Have you seen what the model that KD is following right now? KD is in Silicon Valley for a reason. He took his agent and made him his business manager that goes and does business. He found the right, it was one place where you could be a business leader in tech and be the first biggest star in tech and win on the basketball court. OKC could not offer that. Paul George is more simple of a man.
Oh, yeah.
Paul George likes to fish. He likes to be outside.
There's no question,
OKC was perfect for him.
That's revisionist history in terms. That's like me going into McDonald's. You know, I had the intention of getting a salad, but I end up with a Big Mac and French fries. And
number one
shake.
value meal, suicide.
all that
I don't
other
understand
stuff.
how
So
that-
I get that he went to Silicon Valley and now he's there.
It
for
was
all
a
these
once-in-a-lifetime
other reasons.
opportunity.
He tried to work things out with Westbrook. And again, I don't think we should be debating Kevin Durant as much as Russell Westbrook and this mentality of
love it.
blessed, the
Yeah.
talent,
How do you not
to
look
not
at-
care. I just think that's the wrong mentality. Everybody thinks it's courageous. I don't. I think a lot of it is insecurity.
I don't understand that. How can you look at and I don't understand when you watch Jordan play or Brady play, how you're seeing them evolve differently based on critics. I don't see that. I see those guys going out there doing whatever it takes to win.
Brian, it's an excellent point you're making. Do I think at the end of the day the critics are what made Jordan and Brady great? No.
But do you think
I do think they had a different mindset as it relates to their critics.
But they had different circumstances too. Do not do that.
Particularly Jordan.
That's revisionist.
Particularly Jordan. But Brady
had
lives
Phil,
in this era now.
Jordan had Phil Jackson, who didn't give a flip. And then Brady has Belichick, who doesn't give a flip. So the authority figure in that, who you have to at least say is a shared person in that success, is the one taking the hits. Like, I don't give a damn, so guess what? You can hide behind coach. Now, name some other successful guys of that stature who didn't give a flip. That's when you start to have an argument. But these guys had someone who they shared with who didn't give a flip. And let's not act like the opposite's not true. We all know people who care too damn much about what everybody says. So flip that coin. There's some people who
pick one.
No. I've said Kevin Durant is that guy. There's two different ways to go about it. Kevin Durant's overly sensitive.
All right.
Russell Westbrook is I don't care what anybody says.
James
Like
Harden.
He just said, I don't
James
care.
Harden.
He didn't know, you're overemphasizing what he said. He
James
said,
Harden
I don't care. I care about these people and my performance on the court. And
I
I'm doing
was
well.
blessed with the
But you
talent
put
to
emphasis
not
on
give
the
a
word.
F
Yes.
about.
It's
That's
the
pretty
truth.
strong.
The truth hurts.
That's
It's
the
the
talent.
truth.
James Harden, agree, doesn't give a flip, does his thing.
Mamba. Kobe had
Kobe
his.
Bryant
Kobe didn't care about how you
does
talking
not
about
give a
him.
flip.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to
No
stop.
way.
Y'all
No
need to stop.
Kobe cared?
Kobe had rabbit ears.
Absolutely.
Really?
I didn't
Kobe
say
cares
rabbit
what
ears.
people say?
Could we just deal with the words that was said? Does Kobe care? Does Kobe reach out to key media people when he's been criticized? Absolutely. I've been one of them. Does Kobe care? Absolutely does Kobe care. Does he have rabbit ears? No. Is he his own man?
see-
Absolutely. But to sit here and act
the
like he
clarifying
doesn't
message-
care.
But you said
I
key
don't know.
media personalities.
I don't know.
Right.
And yes, to talk to you is you're not a critic. You have an informed opinion. What I think he's talking about is the other people who don't know what they're.
And
you
that's where we have
people,
disagreement, Dante.
The
because
people
I
in the
think
media
he's-
circle.
I'm
I'm getting
Iverson.
interviewed by people to just say anything.
Iverson.
Yeah,
ain't no way. No way.
But you're giving me an example of a guy to me that I would argue. And again, some of these guys ceiling so high that no matter how high they get or how much they miss their ceiling, it's still unbelievably successful. But did Iverson reach his full potential? Did he play the right way? Hell no.
What's the right way? What do you mean full potential?
Well, you talk to Larry Brown
if you
about
don't win a
it. That's
championship,
why they butted heads.
if you don't win a
Larry
championship,
Brown's one of
you're not
the great.
reaching your full potential. Where
Larry
we going
Brown's
with
one of the great coaches in basketball.
he ain't almighty.
history. And Larry Brown was one of the great point guard coaches, and they butted heads tremendously.
They did go to the finals.
No, I get it.
What about Barkley?
Barkley's a very good friend of mine.
Yeah, he didn't know way when he played. He
Yeah.
gave the flip.
Huh?
He didn't give a flip. When he played?
And look, did he reach his ceiling?
But
Who really
you can
reaches
say
their
no
ceiling,
one-
though?
no
Like,
one
Only
does that.
Dante did because he's the only one with a championship.
No.
He got one.
Who reaches their ceiling really? Because
it's not
perceived
about
ceiling.
championship. A lot of guys fall short.
No. A lot of people don't reach their. No,
Most don't.
Who has reached their full
To
ceiling?
me, I would say Jordan and Brady, damn close. I'd
Damn
say
close.
Bill Russell, No, everybody always said, man, the human mind can't even conceive all the things it can do.
But it certainly
Marcellus.
could put expectations on somebody. I know the human mind can do that. Oh, you're going to be this. Oh, you're not? You didn't live up to your expectations. Based on whose opinion?
Hey, look, man, I guarantee you, Michael Jordan's opinion is like, man, I left some meat on the bones. I guarantee you.
Every
he thinks
athlete
that.
thinks
No,
that
I
even if they
understand
didn't leave any meat on the bones. They think the bone marrow needs to be eaten. You're going down to the
Especially those guys. Brady's still going.
It all depends on where you set your bar. Brady and Jordan, to me, different animals than these young guys today that just soft and again, they two different ways. Define, I don't give a flip, or they're overly sensitive.
Ooh, you just answered it. Where you set your bar, not where y'all set my bar. And I think Westbrook is saying, y'all ain't setting my bar. So therefore, I'm not listening to you guys.
I agree.
And my
And
bar
he's probably
is
gonna-
higher than y'all could ever jump.
Probably going to get up out of this league without ever reaching his full potential as an individual or as a team.
So winning an MVP and averaging a triple-double is not full potential? There's always another level to go.
Yeah, there is.
Quadruple double.
So really, so everyone does. No one
Absolutely.
gets to their expectations.
That's so
For the
unfair.
most part. And
So
some-
why are we singling
some
him
max
out?
even more
yeah.
because some max out even more than others. And I'm saying Brady and Jordan, if he had a different approach, he could max out even more. That's my point. Guys are terrible at taking care of their health. Whether it's a knee injury, bad back, or something worse, we're usually more comfortable rubbing some dirt on it than seeing a doctor. I'm guilty of it myself, particularly when I was younger and playing football. I can remember hurting my shoulder and never telling the trainers. That turned into a real problem. The same is true for erectile dysfunction. Studies show 70% of guys who experience ED don't get treated for it. Thankfully, Roman created an easy way to get checked out by a doctor and get treated for ED online. Roman is a one-stop shop where licensed U.S. physicians can diagnose ED and ship medication right to your door. With Roman, there are no waiting rooms, awkward face-to-face conversations, or uncomfortable trips to the pharmacy. You can handle everything discreetly online. All you have to do is visit GetRoman.com/speak, fill out a brief medical onboarding, chat with the doctor, and get FDA-approved ED meds delivered to your door in discreet, unmarked packaging. That's GetRoman.com/speak. Guys, go online and get checked by the doctor. Erectile dysfunction is a problem that guys don't tackle, but with Roman, it's really easy, so take care of it. For a free online visit, go to GetRoman.com/speak. That's GetRoman.com/speak for a free online visit. GetRoman.com/speak. Let's move to the Lakers, who limped into the All-Star break with 2 straight losses that dropped them under 500 and into the 10th seed in the West. Now Lakers legend James Worthy says that a virus has settled into the team, and while Worthy didn't give the virus a name, a lot of ink has been spilled this week about the effect LeBron's arrivals had in the locker room and the front office. Question here, guys, is what's the virus that James Worthy is referring to? Is it a player? Is it the culture? Is it Luke Walton? Is it Magic Johnson?
It's expectations. That's what the virus is. Because LeBron walks on, he's won eight straight finals. He walks in, and everyone thinks that the Lakers are now a sure thing to go to the finals.
Good point.
The Western Conference is a beast. LeBron last year on the defensive end, he shut it down. The Cavs 29th in the NBA in defense in the regular season. Postseason came, flipped the switch. He's a nice little 4 seed. They go all the way to the NBA Finals. In the West, you can't do that. You can't take possessions off. If you do, you get beat. So that's the virus. The virus is that people think that the Lakers are just going to cruise on. And then you have this Anthony Davis thing as well, because these young guys have to deal with it. There's a lot of things that surround LeBron. But if I was the Lakers or I was the coach or I was a GM, I would take those problems that come with LeBron James because it is LeBron James and you have a chance.
Go ahead, basketball.
Listen, pressure makes diamonds or bust pipes. And you're putting a set of individuals in pressure situations and expectation, as you said, to be a title contender, whether they like it or not. And that comes with daily expectations of being a winner. And I don't think most of these people understood what comes with that. The daily pressure of being a winner, the daily media attention that you get. You're held accountable at a different level right now. And these guys are not ready for it, also with the distractions of the trade, also with injuries, all that going along. And as far as leadership, from Luke's perspective, I don't think he knew what he was getting to when he got LeBron James on his team. It's a lot of attention that you're going to get, whether it's needed or it's not needed or it's expected, but you have to go through this to understand it.
I'm going to defend Luke Walton a bit in terms of when he got the job, LeBron didn't meet with him for damn near a month. So it's hard to get your arms around that situation if the guy won't even meet with you. So I think Luke would say I got dealt a bad hand from the jump. I love your point about expectations, and that I do believe is what's going on from the young people, and the expectations are why the Anthony Davis thing is even a major issue, because the expectations made them make a desperate bid to go try to get him before the trade deadline. And so I think you're right, because one, I say that about Luke Walton because I've watched James Worthy this season. He defends Luke Walton pretty strongly.
Yeah, I don't think the pronoun is about a him or her. It's about it. And LeBron James, when he shows up, it's beyond the it factor. Like, he vibrates the concrete, LL Cool J style. Like, when he shows up, everything's affected. And case in point, I saw him this summer at one of these parties. And I was sitting there right between where he was coming in and where he needed to go. And that was the wrong place to stand, because I saw superstar after superstar get affected and change their personality and how they were acting just in effect of LeBron James. And these are people who got it them damn selves. And when you put him around a young core, he vibrates the concrete. Kobe went through this with his young core as well. Everywhere he goes, you can say he takes the oxygen out the room. You don't feel comfortable in your skin. You don't act the same way, because everything you're doing in deference to what is he going to think? What is he going to do? And I've talked to these players candidly. I won't call them out, but they say it is a very difficult experience being around not only Mamba, but LeBron, because you don't know where your game fits in. It's almost like you have to fit it in with whatever's remaining instead of just fully exposing it.
It no matter if it's toxic. It sounds a little.
No, it's not. It's not. It's the expectation. I'm sure Jordan was like that.
Viruses
I'm
are
sure.
toxic.
Well, no, this is a little bit different, because LeBron signs with the Lakers, and I'm not sure he signed to go play with Ball, Kuzma. Now, I like those guys a lot. I think they're actually good players. But if you think about last year's Cleveland team, they get George Hill. Expectations are there. He didn't handle it well. Jordan Clarkson didn't handle it well. Last year, Isaiah Thomas went there. Jay Crowder, guys who performed in the past, they didn't handle the pressure of what it's like to be with LeBron James. That's not an easy thing to do. Some people are good with it.
Toxic.
You
What?
stop that.
That sounds kind of toxic.
Why?
I'm just saying, Kevin Durant said it, and we act like, no one else.
he said it about the media members and how they always take his side, which is also part of it.
That is
part of it. Like, they go in
Isn't
there.
the media part of the expectations and the pressure?
Yeah.
It sounds kind of toxic.
But why is that his fault, though? Why is that LeBron's fault? He's trying to win championships.
Stop that.
There's not a one
It's difficult to be
size
around them
fit
because of
all.
that.
It's not a one size fit all for being involved in that situation. You have to know who you are as a basketball player, and I think you can understand that once you define and understand who you are. Now you're prepared to give something to a basketball team. You don't get that when you first come in the NBA. For your first 5-6 years, you're trying to develop into what you're going to be. No one comes in as a superstar. Some people develop from underrated to a superstar. But then it takes a period when you define who you are and how you can be humble enough to throw yourself into a team. You don't have a roster in that capacity right now. You don't have guys who know who they are, know how they're going to affect the game on a nightly basis. You know what you're going to get from those people. You know that Brandon Ingram is growing. You know guys are getting better.
We're joined now by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. Let's move to the NFL, where questions are flying about the future of some star wide receivers. Earlier this week, Antonio Brown issued another trade request, tweeting his farewell to Steeler Nation. And yesterday, our buddy Jay Glazer predicted that Odell Beckham Jr. would be traded, and Odell responded with some cryptic tweets. Meanwhile, a Patriots columnist wrote that the Super Bowl champ should trade for the Giants star Odell Beckham Jr. I think this is crazy. I don't think that either one of these guys would be the right fit for the Patriots. They just don't win that way. I know that Randy Moss was a diva wide receiver, but I think he was a different kind. He took the top off a defense with a 9 route and simplified coverages in a way that Odell Beckham Jr. and Antonio Brown don't. And so I just don't see these guys as a fit. They're about their targets and touches, and the Patriots system lets the defense decide who gets the targets and the touches.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see it as a great fit. You have to bring all of them when they come. Not just the big production, but the big ego and what occurs in adversity. And we've seen some of those displays, which don't look like they're the Patriots' way. I look at it, and it's interesting. The first thing you have to do is analyze this draft class in terms of receiver. Can you get someone who shows humility in their game but great potential that could take the top off of a defense? And then you start looking at this draft class of receivers from A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, Paris Campbell, a lot of guys who are projected as first-rounders. So if I'm Bill Belichick, the way I want to play this is, once again, Brady. Grab something good and make it great. You can turn anybody into a household name. I'd rather do that with these players because, as we know, the old saying is, it's easier to build strong children than to fix some broken men. And fixing these broken down wide receiver divas who are going to hit their heads on goalposts and spaz out when things get rough is not necessarily the Patriot way.
Oh, man, I'm going to disagree with both of you.
Here we go.
Initially, I was going to agree. And I'm like, nope, I just can't do it. I disagree because when you look at the style of play that the Patriots play, it's predicated based on their personnel. And when you add an Antonio Brown or an Odell Beckham, Josh McDaniels is so good at making sure he utilizes their skill set. Tom Brady is, we all can easily agree, I believe, that he's one of the greatest to ever do it, and he knows how to get those guys the ball. When I look at Tom Brady and his passing and completion percentages at different spaces in the field, left side, middle, and right side, down the field, both of these guys stretch the field. Tom Brady is one of the best in the game. 97%, 82%, 68% from the left side to the right side of the field, and these guys stretch the field. They understand what they do. They're route runners, and you say, you know, they bring all this baggage. No, one thing about these two receivers that I understand is they want a great relationship with their quarterback, not just on the football field. When you look at Julian Edelman and Tom Brady, they have an unbelievable dynamic, not just on the football field, but they have a real relationship off the field. And I think that's a lot of the problem with most of these receivers and quarterbacks.
And so Tom Brady's going to connect with Antonio Brown.
No, have you seen
Julian Edelman?
And
did he reach out and tell Antonio Brown how great of a player he is?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did.
That's
But that's different than we going bowling every
That's
Tuesday.
a one night stand.
No, that's not a one night stand.
About a
I
relationship.
got TB12 to run,
when somebody can respect what you bring to the table, I don't care if it's for a season, 2 or 3. They're going to put that time in with one another. They're going to develop a rapport, and they're going to get it. And they're going to get it done.
That with Antonio.
Yeah, I think that you're taking it out of context. Let's be real.
Wait, you're saying Ben has done that?
Randy Moss came there proving that I wasn't a quitter from Oakland. What are they going to prove? What's going to make them swallow that humble pie to say, you know what, when the balls aren't coming my way, but we're still packing it, we're still racking up the wins, that I'm fine with that. They haven't been fine with that in the past. Just be real.
No. Let's start with Odell. Odell, his biggest frustration is the lack of play at the quarterback position.
Yep.
Him not being able to get the ball. We don't see that as an issue with Tom Brady. He gets his guys the ball. Ben and Antonio Brown, completely different dynamic. He's able to get him the ball, but that relationship in the locker room and off the field is just
never
shot.
enough for Antonio Brown. It doesn't matter how many times you feed him the ball. There's always more. And, oh, my God, don't let Juju outperform me.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to lose my mind.
For real, like Juju got more touches, more catches, more yards, et cetera. Not more touches. What happens when Edelman gets that?
That's gonna naturally happen because they're gonna gravitate more attention from a defensive scheme from opposing opponents. So they're gonna get, but they still
are they gonna be okay with that? We understand what's gonna happen, but what's gonna be the response to that's the reality? Edelman 9 for 140, you with 6 for 98.
With knowing you have an opportunity to win. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I'm with you.
Greg Jennings is back. Time to get antisocial. Got my Twitter off. We forgot you. All right,
we forgot you.
Got to remind you every day. All right. Our social media manager, Darnell Smith, is here to tell us what's popping on those Twitter streets. What you got, Darnell?
We're going to start with some golf, gentlemen. Pro golfer Matt Kuchar snapped a 4-year victory drought with the win, the Mayakoba Golf Classic back in November. Why do we care now? Because Kuchar, who won more than $1 million, only paid his local Mexican caddy $5,000.
Why race got to come into it? What you do over there?
Hey, just keeping it real. That's less than half of 1% of his winnings. The caddy said he was expecting $50,000, but Kuchar defended the payment saying, it's done. Listen, I feel like I was fair and good. Is this a bad look for my guy, Cooch?
It's a horrible look, and it's a horrible look, and he's going to pay a price for this. I think he'll face some jeers at golf matches. He looks very cheap here. Should have given this guy 10%'s the normal tip, $120,000 to his normal caddy. Could have gave this guy $50,000 and been a hero. Gives him $5,000. Horrible look. And you know, we spend a lot of time evaluating football, basketball players, and like, man, golfers. They some different cats, man.
Yeah.
They some of the cheapest,
They are.
stingiest, most ruthless people on the planet.
Can we say this? It's a bad look, but sometimes looks are deceiving. None of us know how well a job he did that day in terms of caddying. Maybe you told me to get the 9-iron, and sucker, I needed that pitching wedge and messed me up, but I still won because I overcame your bad caddying. 2, excuse me, has he ever given any of that money back in his base salary when I didn't make the cut? We always talk about
filling in for his regular caddy.
Hey, all I'm saying is what a norm.
Regular caddy took the tournament off.
I love you too. I know the story. Here's the thing. There's a norm, and there's people who go excess of the norm for good, and some people go under it. But guess what? It balances out to create a norm. You are not obligated to do anything. There may be cultural norms, and if I defy it, don't come at me crazy.
I love that. I'm going to defend Matt Kuchar here, too. It may be a bad look, but look, if your services weren't up to par to what I felt like I could have gotten or I normally get.
He won the tournament and got $1.2 million.
He won the tournament. Did the caddy win the tournament for him?
It's a team
If I
thing,
go out
Greg.
to eat, if I go out to eat and the waiter comes up and she's not or he's not doing the job that I feel like they should be doing, I'm not giving them.
Even if I had a good meal.
No, the meal could be delicious.
The best meal ever. But guess what? When you talking too much to me, caddy, you never know. It's so many things. I played golf. That was my first sport. Been playing it since I was 6 years old. There are times where a caddy could get in your way, but you can overcome that. I don't know the details, so I'm not going to condemn him.
1% or 1.5% for allegedly, we're speculating he did a bad job. The guy hadn't won a tournament in 4 years, and he wins a tournament with this guy on the bag, and I'm supposed to believe this dude did a horrible job?
I don't know what kind of job he did. That's why I'm not condemning him.
Why would, again, if Kuchar's taking the kind of heat that he should have said, he's been getting criticized. That's why he's had to explain
Russell Westbrook, I give a flip. I give a flip with y'all talking about heat.
Man, let me just say this.
Yes, sir.
Darnell.
Yeah.
If I go anywhere and I win a $1.2 million,
Yes, sir.
you getting a nice piece of change, bro.
He ain't getting a piece of change working here right now with you. Darnell been here 3 years.
What are you doing for you right now, D?
We're going to move to the next topic.
We can go into detail.
No, I know.
Been home.
He looking out. He looking out. He looking out. Yes, sir.
10% though?
Next topic. Listen. Happy Valentine's Day, fellas. My guy Chris Long isn't feeling the Hallmark holiday, though. Yesterday, the 2-time Super Bowl winner tweeted his list of top holidays. Number 1, Christmas. Number 2, 4th of July. Number 3, Thanksgiving. And number 246, Valentine's Day. I'm not even sure the 245 holidays, but...
Yeah, there are now.
Maybe, yeah, true. Valentine will be last on my list, but what do y'all think? Is Valentine's Day trash or no?
I'm gonna go first real quick.
No,
that ain't it. That ain't it. No, I mean, when you look at all the other holidays, they're inclusive to friends and family. This is the one that if you're not married or you don't have a significant other, it doesn't rate high on the list because I don't have that special someone. So you can throw it away or you can not, or you can love it. It depends on your situation.
But Chris is married. At least he got kids, so Chris married. I'm married. I just feel the obligation. And like I wake up on the 14th, I'm like, dang, I gotta do a lot of fake buying and shopping and balloons and cards. My wife texts me this, and I want you to know why I married my wife. I don't want anything for Valentine's Day. Oh, I love you, girl. Just make that, you know what? We could do one cumulative present for the entire year. And I wrote this down so you won't get mad at me. And no gift on the holiday. I love that woman. That's what, I'm about to go-getter something.
got you
Exactly.
Right, when I get off the freeway, whatever they selling right there,
Exactly.
that's yours, baby.
Yeah, she played you. She got you.
That's the trick right there.
She set him up.
Set me up.
I ain't even touching that. But Valentine's, I'm not touching. Valentine's, I don't like any holidays. But go ahead, Darnell.
The Grinch. All right.
hear that.
Time for some NFL, NBA crossover talk. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says that he, quote, hasn't given any thought to becoming the NFL commissioner. While there is no official report that he's been contacted about the job, there have been reports that multiple NFL owners and various Fortune 500 companies have approached Silver about hiring him. Are you guys buying that NFL owners are interested in Silver? There it is.
What?
ESPN is a PR firm for Adam Silver and the NBA. This story is 2 years old. A couple years ago, when Joe Lockhart had infiltrated the NFL offices and had everybody thinking being woke was the cure to cancer, they thought about or speculated about Adam Silver. That's over. Don't nobody want Adam Silver in the NFL.
Use the whole can.
Yeah, no, I'm with Jason. Now, these owners don't want Adam Silver because Adam Silver, from an NBA perspective, he's a player's guy. Even though the owners ban him, he's more pro-player from the outward looking in. And that ain't it for these NFL owners.
Yeah, but everybody has their number. And I don't know what Adam Silver makes. I can only speculate. It's not out there like.
Would he be good for the job, though? What qualifies?
When you get $41 million in a pay cut, that's something that's intriguing to all.
No, I'm saying, but what qualifies Adam Silver to run the NFL?
Well, he runs another major sports league, so he's a halfway there. It's not the same exact sport, but in terms of business and growth, NBA has grown exponentially. Not necessarily on his watch, but in the last decade or so, David Stern,
More
while
than
he
the
was
NFL?
while he was junior to David Stern. No, not more, but that's the whole point. If you're going to replace Roger Goodell, who would you pick? He would be
Not
first
Adam
in line.
Silver.
Well, he'd be first in line if I was just blindly picking because he's running another sports league that is globalized. No?
I would agree, but hopefully the NFL owners aren't blind.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm
that's
with
why
you
they
there. I
fired
don't
Joe
think it's gonna
Lockhart,
work.
and this story is 2 years old, and stopped the PR for it.
Ain't no more left with.
Stop the violence.
Time now for Darnell's question of the day. Darnell, take it away.
It's Darnell. My guy. My question of the day. My guy. My question of the day. 285-pound son.
Yeah.
I just saw that knee on that squat.
All right, guys. So growing up playing sports, we've all seen different types of personalities who both fail and succeed. So based off your personal experiences while playing sports, what's more important, humility or swagger?
I wrote a column about this a couple years ago. Humility is the key to success in almost all endeavors. And I said this about athletics. Humility, swagger is for game day. Humility is for the other 6 days of the week. And so humility should drive your preparation for the game so you can have swagger when you take the field. I think we have it in reverse now. People want to have swagger all week and more swagger on Sunday or Saturday or whenever they play.
Yeah, for me, if you make me pick, I would say swagger, but I think you need both. I think you need swagger in terms of your belief in yourself. Remember, you're 1 in a million if you make it. To climb up that mountain, you got to have that fuel and that belief. The pom-poms inside you got to be cheering loudest for you. But you need humility towards the craft, towards the game, towards the process. You can never sit there and think you're bigger than the game and going through that process. So I think you need a balance.
Well, I think you can have humility and have swagger. You don't, just because you have humility doesn't mean you don't have swag. I feel like I had multiple swag, like the ultimate swag. But I was humble about my approach. I knew what I needed to get done. I didn't need any more attention, didn't need the spotlight on me to enhance my flaws if I had some. Shoot, I know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
What do you think about my point, though? You lean into one more than the other
You do.
at different times.
You do, and I think when you first come into the league or whichever profession you're in, you lean towards swagger because you feel like I gotta show. You lean towards humility because you're just getting your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And then once you get a little taste
Lord.
of success,
Lord.
woo, that humility go out the window. You start feeling yourself a little bit.
So Greg, so you played with, your guy Aaron Rodgers. Which one did he have? Was he more on the humble side or more on the swagger side?
You tell me what you see.
I went in the locker room with him.
Is that the same?
We just said you enter in with a whole bunch of humility. When you walk out, you got a whole bunch of swag.
So those meetings with Brett Favre, he was like, yes. And then
sir.
now he's like, what? A little different? Like a little different?
It get a little different when you calling the shots.
Oh, we all guilty. I am guilty of doing the same thing. We all guilty?
I'm in that boat too.
Yeah. Day one writing the column versus now. You the same dude in terms of humility and
Very,
sweat?
very humble.
I'm still humble myself.
You cursed us out 3 times this week.
Hold on, Whitlock, earlier you did say I'm one of the greatest journalists of all time.
Yeah,
That's a very humble
Hall of
statement.
Famer.
But that's a very humble statement because the truth is, I am the greatest. I'm Jason Whitlock. He's Marcellus Wiley.
Yes.
Time to put on our thinking cap.
Let's do it, wait.
Dante Jones and Greg Jennings are back. As you all know, I'm a journalist, and we've got our resident Ivy Leaguer, Marcellus Wiley, here. So we're going to take a deeper look at some big issues in sports. Got a special cap for Marcellus. Bring it in, Darnell.
For Idris Elba, you mean?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Our Ivy League, Columbia's finest.
Stringer Bell? No.
Marcellus Wiley, no, not Stringer Bell.
Man, I wish.
Hell no.
Prop Wiley is ready now. All right, today we want to revisit a heated debate we got into yesterday about LeBron James and why he's achieved greatness. And he was blessed with some God-given ability that is unprecedented. It's unprecedented. Let's don't kid ourselves.
Being
there's
blessed.
a bunch of guys that we all grew up with, guys in the hood that had just as much talent.
There are.
Get out of here.
Listen, from two people who have done this, there's so many more than you understand that cannot deal with the adversity.
There's a million of them.
so many that they can't deal with the adversity of trying to get here.
Guys with
It's
that
a
kind of
million. It
talent.
ain't even got to be 6'9". This kid's
Cut
that
it
want
out,
to be
Catino.
doctors.
All right, listen.
I knew this was
I
coming.
know we played the clip, but I want to try to move towards reality by removing LeBron James from the conversation.
Please.
So let that be the last time that we say LeBron James in this conversation.
Respect.
And so now I just want to just move to the reality of let's quit pretending like our neighborhoods are overrun with freakish athletes.
I'm not pretending, it's a reality. Now, let's first talk about what talent is and freakish athletes. That means before interruption, before adolescence, before life gets in the way, before you get off the path, before you don't work at your craft. I'm talking about whatever you were born
Give me
with.
the age.
Huh?
Give me the age.
I give you all the way to 14, 18, that word. I'll go in that zone. I'm just talking about my experiences.
High school, you talking about ninth graders?
Yeah, I'm talking about the capacity to have abilities, which I will call talent.
No, but freakish. I'm
Brother, I'm not even close to done.
Gotcha.
I got names that didn't make it, but if you know, in every neighborhood got them. Stace Bozeman, hello everybody out there, Inglewood, LA, y'all know what I'm talking about. Al Jones, number 27 from North Orange County Piranhas, but I ain't even gonna go there. I'm gonna tell you about guys who materialized and actually were freakish athletes that I played with.
There's only, Marcellus, what I'm talking about, maybe we're missing the definition.
Okay, let's do that.
There's only about, these are once in a lifetime generational.
You ready?
And again, we're talking about Serena Williams. We're talking, and again, I said I wouldn't say the guy's name. I'm not talking about that guy. We're talking about the John Elways.
You ready? I got
ahead.
one. I got one that he was so freakish they called him the freak. Javon Curse. Now, you're going to try and break him down and look at him and talk about the injuries and he slowed down.
No, I'm not.
Rookie year, what did he give us? 12, 13 and a half
Marcellus.
seconds.
Marcellus, though.
6'6",
Marcellus.
240, ran a 4.344.
I get it.
Arms to the ground, bro.
Marcellus,
We couldn't do nothing with this, and I seen
He's
it.
240. And so when you start talking about freakish athletes at defensive end, I'm talking about Reggie White.
Oh, okay.
And he's not, Javon Curse is, that's great. He can run in a straight line, and he had long
That is an
arms.
athlete. Don't try and undermine mine for power. Don't try to go power over speed, because speed kills. Power does what? I'm listening. Here we go. We got other guys in the NBA. Giannis. Are you kidding me? Durant.
He got 3 brothers.
Giannis.
They all do what he does.
What hood in America is Giannis from?
It's somewhere in Wisconsin.
Come
right now, no, but there are people who are built differently. Have you logged on to social media right now and seen what these kids are doing right now?
Zion.
Like all these basketball websites.
And that's why when we see Zion, we go crazy because we don't. It's so rare.
No.
I think you have to get off the intellectual sites and go onto some athletic sites and look at these kids these days.
Yes.
But not all of them get the opportunity
Yes.
to take it further.
Thank
They make the
you.
mistakes before they get to take it further.
Damn.
I was not the biggest athlete in my draft class or period. I got a guy named Ray Young who was the #1 shooting guard in my class. Freakish athlete. He just decided he didn't want to play basketball no more. And these are life decisions. These are personal decisions. These are people who can mess up your career to get to that point. But there are athletes all over the hood. It's just that it's a couple decisions that could sway here or there. Even my mama could tell you that.
Yeah, she right there.
Yes, for me, it's a no-brainer. Like,
No-brainer.
it's all about the opportunity that they're provided and what they're willing to let go of. And I think that's what a lot of these freakish athletes, because we can all name them. I got one, Eric Gardner. Like, unbelievable. Size, it didn't matter. He was about 6'1", 215, could do anything, could jump out the gym, ridiculous football player. You ask him to do whatever he could for the team. It didn't matter. I got it. And it's not a matter of these guys that we see that 6'9", 260. That's not just always the freakish athlete that looks like the freakish athlete and actually is. It's more guys in the hood or in these neighborhoods that just can flat out ball, that just don't make the right decisions or expose themselves to something else that gets them pulled off or derailed from the path that we all choose to go on and eliminate and isolate ourselves from.
People don't understand that being a professional athlete is not like you pick the best athletes in the world. You pick the most professional athletes in the world who took care of their craft, who honed their skills. I was a 3-star, maybe a 4-star on a good day. But guess what? I survived and persevered where other guys started to fall down that mountain. Do y'all remember LeBron James in his documentary even said, Carmelo said it, Amari Stoudemire said about Lenny Cook. Remember that dude?
I was at that game
That's the
that they played
perfect
each other the first
example.
time.
This dude was better than them. And then what we see in high school, he taking private jets and gambling and craziness, and he got off the rails.
They didn't have the right. Most of these people don't have the right people in their lives, and I was thankful and blessed enough to have the right set of parents to keep me in that direction.
There's a reason why y'all can name these guys that you're talking about, because there were so few of them. And so if there was a bunch of them, you'd forget their names.
Oh, it's only
Those
three
are the
people
ones
up
that
there,
that's what we can come up with.
I'm talking about the reason why you can name these guys that you have in your memory.
But I'm one person, and then if I get every athlete, we got thousands. No.
Look, Marcel, I'm from and I mean this in the most positive way possible. My school's a football factory. They turn out Division I kids year after year after year after year after year. We've had 2 bona fide, like, wow, next level guys. We had Jeff George, and we got this wide receiver, David Bell, who's just this year. That's 2 in 30-some-odd years.
Where you from, Whit? Let's respect it.
No, I get it. Indianapolis. I get it.
That ain't L.A., homie.
No, I get it.
That ain't Long Beach Poly.
I get it.
That ain't USC.
But
and all
we're acting like, because again, having grown up with Jeff George and having been able to see since like 4th grade when we started saying, 4th grade, this dude's gonna be the #1 pick in like 4th grade. There's very few guys like that. And the guy that I said I wouldn't talk about is one of them. And y'all are acting like there's Lenny Cook and all these other guys were just like him, except, and it's just not true. There's a handful that are born with this.
It's not true. Junior Seau, the late great.
Yeah.
Shea Cotton. This dude, man, you got to know these people, man. We knew him before they.
The late great Len Bias.
Early Charles O'Bannon.
I'm just trying to give you people that you can. If I give you
Charles O'Bannon, please.
He was a beast.
Please.
I saw him in high school before all that.
Freakish athletes.
Like I just athletes.
No,
I ain't say great players.
I'm talking about once in.
No. You're changing.
I know. What are you?
You're moving the goalposts again.
I'm like, what are you
Once in a
doing?
generation versus freak athletes.
Because I'm not using the person's name, I don't want to keep. But I'm just saying, LeBron is rare, very rare.
Yeah.
Serena would be another one that I would throw in that category. Very rare. Y'all just throwing out names.
Yeah,
We had a guy that I grew up with named Gerald Lewis. And Gerald, hate to say it, he got like 20 kids in Indianapolis. And half of them are tremendous athletes. Because Gerald Lewis was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Freak athlete?
Basketball, football, the whole.
Big shout out to
I
Gerald.
get it. But again, There's like 2 or 3.
No, Whitlock, do the math. Okay, you know what happened?
We can multiply this. Let's say there's 150.
No.
Let's say there's 300 right now walking at between 14 and 18.
There are
That's
thousands.
not that many.
Look, first of all, you got to know how many athletes we're talking about in that pool, which is millions upon millions. And to be called rare, it's still going to be in the thousands. And they just all got disrupted for different reasons. All we're saying is, were you a freak as a talent? Now, did you maximize and materialize that talent? More than likely, no. But that's the pyramid of success.
I'm going to go back to the point I've been making for several years. People hate it when I say it. But this is what I'm saying. Like Michael Beasley, to me, a basketball savant. He's a generational talent. I saw this dude show up at Kansas State at 18, 19. He was shooting half-court shots like they were free throws. And he didn't max out. He failed. But when you have that kind of talent, Michael Beasley's what failure looks like. He's had a mediocre NBA career, has made some money or whatever. But again, the guys with that Beasley, there's so much help to help them get to the finish line because everybody knows there's a pot of gold. For us to be sitting here acting like the streets in black neighborhoods are just overrun with LeBron James is just a joke. It's a joke. It's like some stuff I'd expect to hear at a damn Klan rally or something. It's crazy to me. All right, welcome back, Whitlock and Wiley. Dante Jones and Greg Jennings are back. Let's move to Colin Kaepernick. Former NBA Commissioner David Stern weighed in on the out-of-work quarterback and the controversy around him that engulfed the NFL for 2 seasons. Stern says Cap's career would have continued had the league just suspended him when his protest started, like he did with Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf back in the 1990s. Stern said that NFL fans would have gotten over it if Kaepernick had been suspended and then come back if it had just been handled the way they handled Chris Jackson. And I 1,000% agree with David Stern. That's where the NFL screwed up by not taking immediate action the way David Stern did. You put out the fire before it gets started.
Yeah, but isn't it easy to be a good soldier when there's no war? It's amazing that when you get avoid.
When there was a war, he was a soldier.
No. There was a policy in place before he even took the job, and so they had to come to an understanding. And when they had their anthem protest in the late '90s, we all
took action.
He took action, which was already in policy. The NFL didn't have policy, so therefore there was a different course of action. Now, I do agree with you. I do agree with David Stern that the fact that if they would have said timeout, penalty, suspension, come back, it would have given Colin Kaepernick an opportunity to get his message in alignment. It all happened so fast, it seemed like, for Kaepernick, and his message got lost, it got distracted, it got undermined, whatever happened. I think that timeout would have allowed it to be refocused on the issue at hand, and everyone could have collected their minds around that singular issue instead of everything that happened. So I think before it imploded, you would have stopped it from exploding into what it became.
I think David Stern makes a great point, but there's a caveat because once Colin Kaepernick let's say he got suspended and the league did come down hard on him and they sidelined him for a period of time. He then comes back and he does it again. Then what?
You sideline him again.
But my point is,
you got policy now.
It's one of those situations where he can say it would have been nipped. Yet from a fan's perspective, we wouldn't have had to cover it all the time. We wouldn't have had a big issue. Yeah. But it's still not to say that Colin Kaepernick wouldn't have done it again.
But the president wouldn't have chimed in with the same level of intensity and whatever occurred from that in collateral damage, because guess what? He would have said action has been taken. Now he's just being defiant, which would have helped Kaepernick and would have kept the president off of him.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think action should have been taken early and often. And I think if Roger Goodell would have acted, suspended him in that case, then it would have been a situation where he would have had to decide whether he was going to take that option, as you said, in the next game. And now you have a process in play, and then possibly they could have put some rules in place. But him not speaking for so long let the message get distorted, let it get out of control. And now we're in a situation that we're in right now. But David Stern does have a great point.
And there was parts of this article I thought were ridiculous because they go on to talk about how the NBA lets their players express themselves. And the whole problem the NFL got into, which David Stern is pointing out, is we let our players express ourselves for a whole season. We let guys in St. Louis, I believe they were with the St. Louis Rams, but St. Louis Rams at that time, come out with the hands up, don't shoot thing with Michael Brown. Nothing happened. Guys were expressing themselves in the NFL along these political terms freely. And it just kept going and building on itself. And then eventually Colin Kaepernick took a knee, and David Stern is right. Had they dealt with it aggressively, this is a clear shot at Roger Goodell and the NFL.
But see, do you understand where I'm coming from? Like
I
you said,
do.
the freedom, but the freedom has limits. Like they had a policy in place which meant you are standing for the anthem. So then don't go on the other side and say we have complete freedom and expression, because the NBA doesn't. That's why those players are not doing it. I'm not saying that this is a wrong policy. I think that you need to have policy in place. But let's not act like that is full expression and freedom, because the players can't do it unless they're going to deal with suspension and penalty.
By not having a rule and by not taking action, they let Colin Kaepernick back himself into a corner to where his career has been set on fire, irreparable. They did him a disservice. Uncle Jimmy's here to help us talk about our approval rating for Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook over there.
Are you going to an NBA game tonight or what?
I'm darn sure glad you can recognize.
Why you got Batman socks on?
Oh, look at them skateboard skid marks on them knees.
You know your jacket and shorts don't match either.
Are you
They're
sure?
2 different colors.
First of all, it was bought as a set. Okay? If y'all don't know nothing about fashion, I can't help it. And forgive me for using it, that y'all can't coordinate. Huh?
Can y'all show them police shoes again, them Air Commandos?
Man.
Look at them shoes.
All right,
Biscuits.
let's get to our highlight from our discussion earlier about Russell Westbrook. I have a great deal of respect for Westbrook as a player and a competitor. He has a passion for the game that forces him to play hard every single night. But he, like most of us, is fooled by his success. Achievement and prosperity provide cover for inefficiency and misguidedness.
When you're displacing yourself from the masses, from the critics, from the haters, do they have my best interests at heart? The envy and the jealousy is pervasive.
All right, Uncle Jimmy,
Still talking.
what's your take?
Well, once again, Dodo, you done missed the whole point. Couldn't be more obvious than the pack of hot dogs on the back of your neck.
Oh, no, don't do that. Give him some respect on. Keep him putting in work in that gym. Look at him. Look at the suit. It's laying.
And your point is, Merkulis? He been putting in work in the kitchen. Jason's treadmill right in front of his refrigerator. That's how he's staying in shape.
Man, you leave that dude alone, man. Friends like you, who needs enemies, huh?
You want to keep co-signing? Is that what we doing today?
I'm respecting my dog.
You can get some of this too.
Oh.
I don't care about you being 6'6", so dark that you jump out of Tesla in the oil light. Come on. Damn, I ain't scared.
We're in the locker room.
Talking about me over there looking black, dark as lovely as ever.
Hey!
Wait a minute.
TJ, man. Get back on topic, man. We talking about Russell Westbrook.
I don't want
all this cussing, man. Stop.
Westbrook
light.
Westbrook said everything that you believe in, man. You just too dumb to realize it. You always got to find something to criticize, as opposed to trying to analyze.
What did he say? What did he say so?
He said, I'm blessed. He said, I have an unbelievable job. Great friends, good family. He said, I make a lot of money. He said, I'm living my best life, and I can't complain one bit. He's focusing on all of the good things in his life, and he ain't even thinking about the negativity. He's celebrating all the things in life that being here in America has allotted him. He ain't got the time or the energy to even be sitting up tripping on the negativity. Is that or is that not what you tell these young athletes to do today? Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, huh? Huh?
That's not what I say. That's not what I say.
Get him, Jimmy.
You don't sit up here every day with that stupid ass can of Twitter off and say, Twitter's for dummies. Ignore Twitter. It's full of bad information. You can't have it both ways. dummy.
Got a point there, Jay.
Huh?
Got a point.
You damn right I got a point.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Twitter off.
I don't say ignore Twitter. I say understand what it is.
And that's exactly what Westbrook is doing, man. He understands that you and his critics ain't nothing but a bunch of hot dog eating wannabes who wish that you had the swag that me and Brody got. You know how I am, the notorious B.I. Jimmy. Hey, I dream filth. My mom's and pop mixed me with Jamaican rum and whiskey. Huh? What a sellout, huh?
What a sellout.
You got the gall to pray and pray for Russell Westbrook's downfall? What the hell wrong with y'all? Huh? Come on by my house, we'll have a curtain call.
I'm gonna say my downfall is one
And
of
you
my
gonna
favorite.
stay out of my Tesla too, I'm gonna tell you.
My downfall is one of my
sorry.
favorite songs, and you just destroyed it.
Butchered.
Butchered.
Oh, my
I didn't?
One of the greatest rap songs ever.
Yeah,
you just destroyed it and wasted it on me. You be quiet. All right, let's get to the approval rating for
Gave
Russell
me some
Westbrook.
public enemy then.
Job performance,
you got?
21. All-time greatness, a 20. Character, I'm going to go with an 18. He ran off Kevin Durant. I hold that
ran him off
against
like
him.
he ain't grown.
Authenticity, I said him and Kevin Durant are really the same people.
Yeah.
They both got a little insecurity issues. They just express a different way. Total of 77, an all-star for him.
Golly, man. Woo, you hard on him.
How is that hard? I don't participate in politics. You don't follow it. Approval rating 77 is
I'm
awesome.
giving you straight objectivity right here. 22, job performance. He's learned to play a different style, and I respect it. It's not perfect, but it's still great. All-time greatness, 22. He's MVP. We know who he is. Character, 23. Got a
Was
little
MVP.
sharp edge on that sword, but I still respect him. Authenticity. He's 100.
We gotta get to this weekend. We're not here tomorrow. I'm gonna wash your mouth out with soap, Uncle Jimmy. Here's a quick and free way to finally stick to your New Year's resolution. Start listening to podcasts on Spotify. With more than 150,000 podcasts, including Oprah's Super Soul Conversations, The Tim Ferriss Show, Happier with Gretchen Rubin, and The Nutrition Diva, you can learn how to balance a budget, balance your diet, and how to feel balanced while meditating, even if you're still wondering if the cat's been fed. All podcasts on Spotify are free, and you can even download episodes for those times when you've gone off the grid. You know, to get that all newfound balance into your life. So start the year off right with podcasts on Spotify.